Okay, right now Jeremy is putting center line on the guitar to be able to put a nice dead center location for the neck. And he puts in the dovetail joints between the neck and the body. You go ahead and you tell me what you're doing right now.
Just going to flatten the block here so that the neck has a...
Oh yeah, okay. So it's flattening the body, the end of the body right now, so that the neck and the body joint will be nice and flush. That's your measuring tool to make sure it's nice and straight. Very precise work. Because the only thing we have joining that neck and that body together is the dovetail joint, so it has to be an exact fit. And that means it has to be exact fit even at this early stage of the neck and body dovetail joint. And now the body is being set up to do the router jig cutting for the dovetail joint of the body. Afterwards, the neck would be routed to match up to it. Beautiful. Okay, so here Jeremy has the jig set up to route out a rough neck fit of a body to neck joint. So this is where the necks have first come up from downstairs and have the fingerboard glued on, the truss rod put in. Rough shaping has already happened on the CNC, so now that neck is coming up to get that dovetail cut out and matched up to a body. So go for it, Jeremy. Looks good. Okay, so now you take the jig out and you can see where he's already matched up the female part of the dovetail joint on the body, and now it's got the neck cut is also there as well. That's for this guitar, right? Yeah. So now this is going to be put, stuck up on the shelf. This body is going to go through production up on the top floor here for probably a few weeks to a few months, and this neck is going to go through certain production parts as well. And eventually, like I said, a few weeks to a few months from now, that neck and that body will actually be joined together into a guitar. Thanks, Jeremy. Oh yeah, truss rod being put in. So now that the dovetail has been cut out, he has to do a flush fit between the two parts, and then he's going to be putting a truss rod slot in that's going to go from the neck right up into the body so that you can do neck adjustments once you have the guitar in your own possession. So it's another routing. Make it all nice and flush first. There you go. Flip it around. Let's see the other side. This area here is where the silver border gets put in. The channel here is cut out on the CNC machine itself. This here is actually a hole that's just cut right into the wood, and then you take the pieces of silver, and that has to get pressed on into the place. It's a very tight fit. This cut is 1 millimeter by 1 millimeter. This piece of wire that's supposed to fit in there is also 1 mil by 1 mil. So the real tight, precise fit around the edging here, create a miter join, miter corner to make a nice tight fit, and then make sure it's all placed in and flush, sand it down, and there's your silver headstock border. Okay, this is our Pantograph. Used to be the only way that inlays were cut out, and the channels for the inlay pieces on the headstock or fingerboards were put in using the pieces cut out from this machine. Now we use a lot of the CNC machines to do all of this work out, but some of it is still done on these the Pantograph. What it is a raised fiberglass or some type of material here, plexiglass. The parts are cut out 3 times the size of what the actual inlay piece would be. So what we do here is trace around it, and while it's tracing around the piece at this size, you have the material underneath a little dentist drill here, and it cuts it out at whatever percentage you set. So this here would press down and you trace it out big here, and it cuts it out small over there. And the next thing you know, you end up with all these little tiny pieces representing what you see here, but at 1/3 of the scale. And this becomes the inlay. Here we have an example of the Mukalady inlay. So these are the blanks that are going into the channels to make up the inlay, where the design of the inlay and the final engraving on the inlay is all Wendy Larrivee's design work, and the application of this type of the puzzle work of it in between is done by the people at Larrivee, getting it ready for Wendy to be able to put her final touches on. Here we have some of the jigsaw puzzle work that's necessary to get the inlays together on the Larrivee guitar. Small tiny pieces that are put in to make the final big piece, the big picture. Again, the design work initially is Wendy Larrivee's, and she does the final engraving on all the inlays as well. The work of putting the pieces together is done by some of the people that work at Larrivee.